Good morning, Mike Dunnaway, the Flatland Fly Tyer here. Today we're going to be tying a new fly. Matter of fact, we're just going to be creating it this morning, and its inspiration is from a fly that's used on the White River throughout. It's called the Sunday Special. And the Sunday Special was developed by a guy named Clint. Matter of fact, they call it the Clint's Sunday Special down on the White River. And I can guarantee you that every guide on the White River, every fly fishing guide, has a bundle of these Sunday Specials in his box, and they like using them. One of the reasons is that it's called a guide fly. It's easy to tie. Here is the Sunday Special, and all the Sunday Special is some hare's ear dubbing, or in this case, some Australian possum dubbing with a copper rib and a copper bead, and that is it. That is the fly. And it catches fish. It does a great job, and the guides like using them. They've all got a bunch of them. But I was thinking we could dress this thing up very easily and make it more caddis-like and even more effective than what it is. So that's what we're going to do today. And since we're going to dress it up a little bit, we're going to come up with a different name for it. And we're going to call it Mike's Saturday Night Special. So we've got a size 14 curved caddis hook in the vise. And a 1/8 inch tungsten bead. Now the 1/8 inch might be just a hair large for this hook size, but I think it's going to be just perfect for this application. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start some 0.015 lead wire and do a couple of wraps of that. This is just to stabilize that tungsten bead so it doesn't flop around on the hook. And we'll shove those copper or the lead wraps up into that tungsten bead. There we go. And we're using size 8/0 olive thread, uni thread. Start that in behind the bead and the lead wraps. Our lead keeps wanting to sneak out of the hole, but we'll capture it here. And our first way to dress up this fly, make it more caddis-like, is instead of using copper wire, we're going to use some green wire. We'll tie that in, put that in the hole in the bead, and as we build our thread base, we'll tie that green wire. This is size small wire, by the way, and we'll tie that in on the near side of the hook. Clear back into the bend. Now, just like on the Sunday Special, we're going to use some natural hare's ear dubbing. In this case, the possum fur dubbing. Grab a small clump, wispy clump of awesome possum and build our dubbing noodle. create our body. Try to make that body tapered so it becomes fatter as we get closer to the bead or the front of the fly. That looks pretty good. Now we'll spiral our green wire. I think the green wire adds a lot of green caddis color to the fly and some segmentation. And we saved a little bit of space up here before the bead for another material that again is going to enhance the caddis-like appearance of this fly. And we'll helicopter our wire off. Our next addition or variation is going to be some caddis green ice dub. We're going to build up a thorax of this ice dub. Need just a little bit here, not too much. This is a very quick tie, just like the Sunday special, but it's just got a couple of extra features that enhance the bugginess. Is that a word? The bugginess of this fly. Okay. We've added an ice dub collar and a caddis green. Then our last material is going to be a soft tackle. I love soft tackles. Soft tackles add a lot of movement to the fly and makes it appear more like an emerging bug. And today what we're going to use for a saddle hackle, you can use some partridge, but I find that with the partridge, the feathers are just a little bit large sometimes for this application. So we're going to use some really small feathers off of a hen cape. And this happens to be dyed olive green. So we're going to go to the bottom and pick out just the smallest of feathers on this cape. I've got this one pretty well picked over, but we're going to find one here. This will work. And the way we prepare this feather, we've got a lot of fluff on it. We're going to strip that fluff off. Again, I love soft tackles. I have had great success in fishing a variety of soft tackles. Okay, so we've got the fluff stripped off. The next thing to do to prepare this feather is to grab it by the very tip and stroke the fibers rearward. And from that tip, we're going to snip off the very end of it and create a small tie-in triangle. This will help keep it from pulling out, hopefully. Sometimes they still pull out. Okay, I'm going to tie that in. By that triangle. And attach our hackle pliers, and be careful not to pull, because sometimes they'll pull loose or break off. Then wet your fingers and stroke those fibers on the feather rearward. And then just take a couple of turns of that hen feather. tie it off. Cut off our stem. Take your fingers and stroke those feather fibers rearward. Build up a little thread collar. Again, forcing those fibers to lay along the fly. Now we can whip finish. Snip our tying thread and apply just a drop of head cement. So there we have the modifications to the Sunday special to create something, to create a fly that's even more caddis-like, and hopefully will be a fish catching magnet. This is Mike's Saturday night special. Enjoy fishing it.